Hey guys, and welcome back to the Nikki Mungues Show, where I inspire and empower you in all walks of life. And today I'm so excited to interview one of my biggest inspirations, not only in the business, but also in life. And to, introduce her, I want to share a little bit about her. She has the most crown princess titles monthly, with 54 in the United States and Canada. 19 months of that were in a row. That is the most that this business has ever done. 4 crown yearly titles, most in the United States and Canada, 3 in a row, most ever. And her sales in her RGD ship, she has had 2,046 gross sales and 1,746 net. And last but not least, with her personal sales, this is the best month ever. She has done 57 demos with 54 net sales. So that is so awesome, so inspirational. And so let's please bring on up the one and only, the Queen Bee, Miss Vicky Giangregorio.
You're so cute, Nikki. How are you?
I'm so awesome. I'm so happy to finally get you on my show. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Yes.
I'm excited.
Yes. So I have tons of questions. And
Okay.
the first one is, if you can please share your story. How did you get started with the rainbow business?
Well, okay. So obviously when I was a little girl, I didn't grow up, thinking, oh, I'm going to be in the rainbow business.
Right.
But it was made for me. Right. And so I had a neighbor. The neighbor asked me for a favor, like this business always starts, right?
Yep.
And she was like, hey, I really need you to look at this thing. You got to do me a favor. And of course, you know me. I'm like, yes, okay, I'll do you a favor. I'm that friend. And so she was like, and it does help that the guy's kind of good looking that's coming over. And I was like, oh, okay, sure, no problem. Send him over. I don't mind watching. And so came over, did the whole demo. You know the rainbow story, the in-home sale thing. And honestly, I'm a clean freak. I was hooked, but he kept recruiting me, Nikki. He was like recruiting. And I was like, no, I'm not going to do this. Like, I'm a school teacher. And I just had that mentality, right? And not that even that I grew up wanting to be a school teacher. There was this big life plan that I thought I had, and doing rainbow was not in it. So I just kind of was a little bit closed-minded. But Nikki, this is so funny. So obviously, I got the rainbow, no surprise. And the next day, I'm at the gym. It's like a 2-level deck gym, and I'm on my bike, and I'm riding my bike. And I look down and I see him, and I'm like, that's that guy. And I take my magazine and I hide, because I knew that he was going to come up and be like, I thought you were going to come to my meeting, my opportunity meeting. And I put the magazine in front of my face, and he's walking up the stairs, and he saw me, and he pulled the magazine down, and he goes, you didn't call me back to come to my meeting. And he said, and it's tonight. And I was like, okay, look, if I come to your meeting, can I just finish my workout? So that's why I literally went to make him, be quiet, basically. But Nikki, it's so crazy. It's like, I went to the meeting. Obviously, I was a little bit intrigued. I was also a little skeptical. I didn't really understand it. I didn't know it. I know I love the product. And but there was just something, there was something inside that night. I can remember it so vividly. It's like, it was like just this vibration within my soul. Like, I'm not even kidding. I was like, I feel like I'm supposed to be here. Right. And I couldn't explain it. It was the weirdest thing.
Attracted to the energy, being in there. It was meant to happen for you to be there, right?
I really do. It's like, it wasn't my written plan, in any regard. I didn't ever write this out, that this is what I was going to do with my life. But I know it was God's plan. 100%. I know it was God's plan. And I could not imagine my life without rainbow in it now. I just couldn't imagine. And and so what happened was I gave him some referrals, because I felt, whatever, me, I'm going to do whatever I can to help people. So I gave him some friends, and he was like, you should come with me to your friends. Or actually, I probably wanted to go with him to my friends to make sure my friends were okay. And so I went, and then he sold them all. And I was like, hey, just out of curiosity, like, how much money did you make? I'm just curious. And he told me, and then I was a little intrigued. And I was like, I think I could do what you do. I don't know why, but I just think I could. And it worked for me because, listen, I was a school teacher. My daughter was 5 at the time. My son was 1.
Wow.
And I mean, I needed the extra money. So I just got committed to learning, and I just started training, and I just dove in.
Right. And that's so just inspiring, because you never know. Like, you literally had a plan. So you studied teaching, obviously. And how long have you been a teacher at that
time? So it's funny, when I saw the rainbow, I was doing my last year of college. So I was doing like an internship, student teaching. And then my mom pushed really hard. I was the only child that ever graduated college. That was a big deal. And my mom was an educator. She has her doctorate in education. And it was really important for her that, guess what I do? Education.
Right.
And asked me if she was a supporter in Rainbow. Definitely not. Became a supporter after I did the proof. And I just, it was so crazy just looking back on that trajectory. It's been 25 years now, and just, I was supposed to be a teacher. I should have probably been teaching right now. But I still do teach, for the record.
You're amazing at it. Like, I felt like when I was like there, doing one of your, I was in a classroom, and I was like, I felt like it was like, in a college course. But it's so crazy. Like, I'm thinking about, envisioning that story. If that man never, pulled that magazine down.
And now we do have to tell people, like, because a lot of people, maybe people don't know, right? They don't know like my whole story. So I wound up marrying him. We were together 25 years, and that's why I'm like, come on, there's no way that we were at the same gym for 3 years and never ran into each other. How did we run into each other in that moment? I think that it was just specifically planned at the right time, the right place, exactly how it was supposed to be.
Wow, what a blessing. And I know that is a whole story within itself. But, you being in the business, Vicky, you already talked about, one of your challenges, which was, your mom. And so my next question is, what were some of the biggest challenges you faced early on, and how did you overcome them? Because obviously you've had so many accomplishments, but it's not easy being where you're at right now, right? And it's not easy to achieve that crown prince. It's not easy to get all those accolades. But what were some of your biggest challenges that stood out to you that can relate to the audience?
So I'll tell you a couple. So the biggest challenges was day 1 of training. Like, I'm not even kidding. Girl, I was terrible. No, I was terrible. There's 4 reasons we're here, blah, 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 blah. I was like, I was stumbling over my words. I was getting all flustered, and I was like starting to question myself. And I was like, I was about to give up. I really was like, nobody should spend 3 hours of training on page 1. That was me. Like, and I made fun of myself all the time. Like, seriously, I was so bad. And, looking back at it now, I'm like, I know I was bad. As we know, God does not call on the qualified. He qualifies the called. Wow, and I told you, I felt like this was such a huge calling for me that I was like, I'm supposed to be here. I'm going to dig in. I'm going to do what I do best. I'm going to be a great student. I'm going to get this. Like, this page will not defeat me,
You're determined, girl. You were determined.
So determined. I really was so determined. But, I would say that was definitely a really big challenge for me. Obviously, another challenge is I had a lot of influential people in my life. Obviously, my close friends, my best friends that I've been grade school friends with, like 4th grade all the way through. Still super close with my high school friends, my mother, my family. And they just were not into it. They were like, I don't know, like, what kind of Kool-Aid you drinking, girl? Like, it doesn't even make sense, just totally opposite of you. Totally opposite of you, having that foundation of that family support. And this was like the rainbow runs in your heart, rainbow runs in your blood. Like, you came up in this business, and mine was like, no, this was the family path for you. And these are the things that you were supposed to do. And I don't understand why you would choose this uncertainty, basically. But, it's interesting looking back at it now, like 25 years later, and my mom's no longer here to have this conversation with her, but I just think that she was really scared for me. She's a mom. So obviously She was just concerned. She was worried. She didn't want to see me fail. She didn't want to see me get hurt. She didn't want to see her grandchildren suffer. And, sales, it's not certain. It's just not certain until you become so good that you make it certain. And that's through learning. Yeah.
Right. And, that honestly, it's heartbreaking too sometimes because, the closest people in your life you would expect to support you. And, I'm really blessed. I grew up, in the rainbow business. My mom's an RGD. So I literally had one of the best. I mean, Sean, shout out to Sean. He went to my high school basketball games. Sean, if you're watching this, I freaking love you. Thanks for the support. But, I feel like for you have such a strong mindset. And that's what's helped you overcome these challenges, right? So now that you're in a position to lead, Vicky, you have a team, you literally have an empire, the Revolution Empire, right? How do you keep your team motivated and engaged, in this type of sales environment? I know our culture is like, okay, yes, this is a family-oriented business, but it's also can get competitive. So how do you lead your team to get on the same page as you?
Well, you just asked me like a super exciting question because I love my team. So, you know how passionate I am about them.
I know.
Yeah, I sincerely love them and they know that. But, Chris and I, so we founded the Revolution Empire probably around 2010 somehow. And we were just talking about like, what are we going to call our group? Because now we had a group, we were all excited. And so we came up with the Revolution, Chris was kind of, let's say he was, he didn't always go against, he went against the grain. He didn't go with the flow. He was a little bit different. He wanted to always be outside the box a little bit. So he's like, we should be the Revolution. I was like, okay. And I was like, what can we call our Revolution teammates? What can we call it? And I was like sitting there thinking like, if we're in a seminar, like we could be chanting or what can we put on our badging? How can we brand ourselves? And we came up with a Revy. So that's REVVY. And, Revy blood, that runs deep. It's so funny. It's like a lot of people that have been in our business, maybe just a stopping moment in their life. It was just a moment. It might have been a step. It might have been just a moment that we get them. I'll still see them on Facebook in their Revy shirts. And I love that. I love that.
That's culture, Vicky. Oh my God. I love it.
I truly think that the culture came from this. Chris and I, we're always in the field, right? And we were lovingly competitive with each other, Right. Hey, did you get any leads tonight? I got 3. Hey, did you get a recruit tonight? I have 3 in training, by the way. Hey, did you make a sale? And we would banter back and forth quite often. But it was all out of jest. It was all out of love. And it was a very healthy competition. And I think that what happened is people just naturally saw that, because as we know, like what is learned, it's caught, it's not taught. Yeah. So they were catching these behaviors from us. And so it's so cute because, I do 2 big events a year with the Revolution Empire, right? And they'll be like, I love awards night. And this is why I love it so much. There'll be like 450 people sitting in the room and I'm up on stage doing awards and I call the winner up. And Nicole, like everybody's cheering selflessly for somebody else winning. Okay.
Love that.
But the funniest part is you can see like, there's this moment they're like cheering and then they're like, stop. And they look around and they realize, wait, I was competing with them and they just like beat me. Oh wait, but I'm so happy for them.
Oh my God. I love that.
That moment, that picture, that just that can create like just the imagery, like if you're not in the room of who we are, like sincerely, selfishly supporting each other so that the other person wins. And that is all I ever wanted for our culture.
I love that. And that simply answers my question because it's like a lot of people, when they ask, how do you motivate your team? Is it money? Is it awards? But Vicky, like for me, just like interviewing you right now and learning about, the Revolution Empire, y'all love each other and not each other, like you love your people. Yeah. So I feel like, correct me if I'm wrong, the motivation comes with like, it's already in the back. Like as long as
you know what?
Right.
I'm so glad. Yeah. I'm really glad you see that. Like, we don't want to let each other down. It's as if it's like, they're my chosen family.
Yeah.
They just are. I was just having this conversation with a friend just the other day and I'm like, there can be turbulent times in your own family, like your own blood. But the reality of it is when you get to choose who you get to spend time with, how you can add value to their lives, they can add value to your life. Somebody that you're just in the room with that they just set your soul on fire. Somebody that you want to find something within them to show them what's possible. And that's just it. I'm like, they became family. And everything that happened with Chris last year, honestly, like I was in this business for exactly the right reason, to create this culture, to have this loving, supporting system that, oh my gosh, I don't even know what I would have done, without my rainbow family. Sincerely, there's just no way. And they know how much I love him. And I'm not even talking about the Revolution Empire. I'm talking about the entire world. Like,
yes.
Yes.
For sure. And like you said, it's like an extended family. I mean, talking about rainbow, for those of you like tuning in and you're not in the rainbow business, obviously this is our culture, right?
Yeah.
So this is what we thrive on. And we have a world meeting. It's funny because we have a world meeting coming up soon. And it's like, wow, Vicky, this is our family reunion.
It is. I know. I'm like, where's the t-shirts?
I know. This is literally our family reunion.
I know. It's going to be so fun.
I know. I can't wait. And, just to keep talking about leadership, my next question is, what's your leadership philosophy when it comes to growing and mentoring? So we talked about motivating, but what about mentoring a strong team? Because I know, shout out to Brian and Hannah, can't wait to see them in person. And like I told you, I've been watching tons of, pace setter speeches, and just to see their journey, I think Hannah, if you're watching this, girl, I watched your speech when it was like, I think 10 years ago. I'm so proud of you, but you have mentored them. So now what is your philosophy into building strong leaders in your organization?
It's a great question. That's something you and I could talk about all day long, like sincerely. Leadership, it makes my heart flutter. I love it so much. One of the things I'll never, ever take for granted is the fact that it's a privilege and it's not a right. And, every single day that I wake up, I know my position. I know where I am in the company. I know what I've accomplished, but I understand that it's such a beautiful privilege to lead. And I keep it at just that. I want to re-earn that right every single day. I would say that my biggest strategy in leadership is to personally put someone else's interests above mine.
Okay.
Honestly. And my desires of what I want, I put those last. And I want to find out, like Nicole, if I was working with you. Well, I do work with you now, by the way. Okay. So as we work together, this on meeting number 1, I'm like, Nicole, what is it that you want to accomplish? And then I got to figure out, what are you willing to do to accomplish it?
Right.
And then we work together on this plan. But I just know that if you win, I win too, whether that is just emotionally winning, spiritually winning, in my career winning, financially winning. It doesn't matter. It's just a win. And sometimes because I am just, I just make sure that I show up every single day as just a selfless servant and just trying to help everybody that I can, because this business has changed my life in so many ways, not just financially, honestly, but just the human that I've become. In this journey, and the beautiful relationships that I've had the privilege once again to have. And it's just that, I would say, so specific to your question, what is it that I really do? Well, first of all, I try to recognize something in you. And I learned this from Chris. He saw something in me that I never saw in myself. And then I saw something in him that no one's ever seen. And I was like, man, somebody, if I could just get that little bit of a flicker of a light that he gives to me and the kids, and I can give it to our team, and he could give that to the team, we would become unstoppable. Like, we would go to new heights in this company that we've never been to. And that was one of his superpowers. And I was just so privileged and so blessed and so honored to be loved and mentored and led by him, because that's what he did for me. And it just made it just emulated so deeply that that's what I would just wanted to do for other people. And I would also say to invest your time, selflessly, like my energy, my efforts, all my time, like I'm just investing constantly. And I see you doing the same thing to other people. Sometimes
Yeah.
it's natural and sometimes it's not. And, a lot of people will be like, well, I'm not really good at this or I'm not good at that. And I'm like, okay, well, just study and get better or be
Right.
around somebody,
Right.
to where you're able to get those qualities that you desire to have as a human.
Right. And as what I'm hearing is leading from the front. Now, Vicky, for me, like I said, I'm very blessed to be surrounded with so many, amazing rainbow leaders that it kind of like I learned from them. Now, is there any, talking about your leadership skills, and I can see that you love to serve other people. Was that with always been, the type of personality that you have been? Like, have you always been like that? Like, just because there may be some people here, they're like, oh my God, like, I don't know if I can have that capability to lead like Vicky, So yeah, have you always been a leader, like leading from the front? Or is there some,
My mom would be
type
like, yes, she was always a little bossy when she was elementary school, but she was always so kind, I was always a kid that would bring presents to people, but not expect anything in return. But
right.
I had my mother was just such a beautiful soul. And that's what she
Oh,
did. She was the mom on every Sunday. We have the big Italian feast and the 2 8-foot tables, the ones with the legs that you fold up and the folding chairs all
yes,
around. So just
yes,
invite everybody. It didn't
yes,
matter, who you were, what background you came from. Like every
yeah.
Sunday at 4 o'clock, you're welcome to our home. And so, again, that was something that I caught from my mom.
Yeah.
It was just my upbringing. And yeah,
Yes.
really just my upbringing. And honestly, if there's some people out there that don't feel they have that ability, I would just challenge you. And I would say, what if for the next 30 days, all you did was try to give, and expect nothing in return? Give,
Mm.
and expect zero in return. And I will tell you what, that is one of the things that literally sets my soul on fire, is just helping people and not expecting anything in return, Nicole.
And it's not even monetary, time,
No,
right? Like love languages.
just speaking kindly to somebody.
Yeah.
I don't care if you're the janitor. I don't care if you're the CEO. You're going to get my same respect. You just
Right.
are. You just are. And, as simple as something like somebody walking into my office right now, and you can just see their demeanor and they're just not having the best day.
Right.
Whatever I'm doing is not important in that moment. I'm going to put it down. I'm going to go out. We're going to have a conversation, and I'm going to create a beautiful moment, a miracle moment for them, and help them through whatever they're struggling with, because that's what I'm here for. Like I definitely know my mission. I definitely know my purpose on this earth, and it is that.
And you're really good at it. I
Oh my
remember my first time, you guys, my first time at Vicky's office. I'm gonna brag about your office a little bit.
Okay.
I I walk into the office and I literally told Vicky, I was like, oh my God, like this feels like I'm in a Nike store. Like
Without the shoes. Without the shoes.
I love it. But you know what I love? I just felt like the energy, like even the culture in your office, right? It's just like treating every single person like they are so important. And that's what I want to teach, that's what I'm currently teaching my team too, right? Especially on open house nights. Like literally treat them like they're a freaking celebrity. Like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited that you're here. And that energy is just so infectious, right? So Ashley Kavara said, we love you too, Vicky. Truly an inspiration. Hey, Ashley.
And it's Ashley's birthday. Happy birthday, Ashley.
Oh, hey. Happy birthday,
So that's super exciting. I love that. It's interesting that you say that, because the energy.
Yes.
So I have always been the type of person that, look, sometimes we go on demos and they're not that fun. It's not because maybe we're not fun. It's the people sometimes just they're a little more reserved or whatever. I decided I'm going to create the environment in which I want to be in that moment. So for work, for me, for instance, like when I get up every single day, I'm like, today I'm going to create a day that I'm excited to live. Period.
Yeah.
That's just what I'm going to do. But the minute I put my key in the door in the office and I come in the door, I'm like, where do I want to work? What do I want this to feel like for me? So I am really, really, really eager to create the business in which I want to thrive in. I want to live in. I want to be in the environment in. And so when you come in and you have the TVs on and you have loud music and we're dancing and we're having a good time, we're chanting like crazy people. It's just everything. Your physiology is everything, and the way that you carry yourself. And if you start it off right, you're going to have a great day.
For sure. And I promise you, Vicky, I literally brought all that knowledge to LA. And I am so like excited to like teach my team, so many, tips that you've taught me. And one thing that really stood out, I know, was, you had said transformational vocabulary. Yeah. So like I even teach my team, you guys, like, don't ever say I'm not going to have a demo. Like instead say, I'm so excited to book appointments and to have, right? That's vocabulary. So,
for sure.
And that type of energy is what you're going to attract. You're going to attract the right people. So,
and as far as the vocabulary, the transformational vocabulary, Nicole, like especially in this business,
yes,
especially in any direct sales business, honestly, but obviously this is the business I chose to be in.
yeah.
You'll hear a lot of people say this or that, right? And you've heard me say this before. They feel like they can either be a good mom or good dad, or successful in Rainbow. Right. And a better quality question is, how can you be both?
Yes.
How can you be both? Like if you can't get on a demo today, oh my gosh, I don't have a demo. I'm not good at leads, or, all of this, all these limiting beliefs that you're creating in your mind. Again, the transformational vocabulary is, I'm currently struggling getting leads. And then your next sentence should be, is there a class I can sign up for so I can get better? Is there somebody I can ride with to get better at this? So those are like the techniques. Yeah, those are the techniques and the skill sets that I just try to bring to the table every single day, to just be a little bit more creative with them, to get them closer to their goals, because that's what it is. And I think the last thing I would say to your leadership question is, this is huge. This was always, and I have to say it because it was always instilled in me, is be an example. You have to lead from the front. Nicole will never ask a teammate to do something I would not do myself. Never. Right? Like for me, I've been in over 3,000 homes. Wow. I've sold over 2,000 rainbows personally. Wow. So I did the thing, right? I will never ask you to do something that I wouldn't personally do. And as we grew this team, as we built, we sold over 1,000 rainbows 8 straight years in a row. And you don't do that by accident. Now, when I say we, I want to be very clear. The Revolution Empire did that. My team alongside me did that. And I'm super proud. I think that it was just like 2 weeks ago, we hit our gross revenue of $500 million in rainbow sales in our career. Isn't that cool?
That is literally so amazing. That's legendary right there.
Yeah, I love it. Like I saw that number and I was like, oh my gosh. Cause like we have a goal. I haven't hit it yet, but I will hit it. And I think that is just so super cool. But again, what did it take, Nicole? It took the things of me and Chris doing the hard things that sometimes we have to ask of other people to do too. And they know that we're going to do that. So I would say always lead from the front. Always. And you would look left and right and people will be beside you.
I love that. And you were talking about how many sales you guys have made, which is super awesome, right? Yeah. But there are some people out here that are struggling, right? They're struggling to close deals. Like I think mine was like 9 demos, no sale.
You're so cute. 9.
And I cried.
Ooh.
And then I got back up and I had like sold like 5 straight in a row. So I'm like, okay, I still got it. But what is your number one, Vicky, piece? You've gone on thousands of homes. So what is your number one piece of advice for somebody, struggling to get their sales back rolling, or just struggling to just get their first sale? What would you tell them?
So as far as struggling to get sales, I have been there. Okay. I walked those shoes. That's why I was teasing you and saying, oh, 9, how cute.
I know. I'm
sorry. Listen, this is crazy for me. This was a pinnacle moment in my career for me. I mean, this was a moment that I actually almost left Rainbow, and thank God I did not. So I went 27 demos in a calendar month and didn't sell anything. So imagine having no income, right? And we weren't really big recruiters back then. I'd only been in the Rainbow business for about 4 years, but for 4 years. So I'm an experienced dealer at this point. I'm an experienced manager, and 27 no's in a row. And Chris said, I don't know. I was getting mad. At this point, I'm like getting frustrated because my confidence was getting really low. I was like, oh my gosh, I left my career for this. Was this the right thing to do? And he said, you know what, let me just ride with you. Let me just go see, maybe you started doing something different. He rode with me. We did not sell. So that was like my 27th. We walked out to the car and he goes, can I ask you an honest question? I said, of course. He said, do you do that? Have you done that demo, every single demo for the whole month? And I said, yeah, that whole demo, that's the one I did. And he said, you're doing absolutely nothing wrong. He's like, you're just in a knowledge streak, not a no streak, Nicole, a knowledge streak.
Knowledge streak.
What are you going to take away after every single demo that maybe it was a moment where I didn't do something right, or maybe it was a moment that I didn't connect. Maybe I was getting frustrated because I wasn't selling and that was really coming out in my persona, right? Maybe I was carrying myself with the wrong environment. So it took a moment for me to really reflect that. And he's like, Vicky, Rainbow is a numbers game. I'm not kidding, Nicole. In that moment, boom, light bulb. I was like, I'm a mathematician. I have a math degree. I was a math teacher. Like how do I not I sincerely forget that this is the law of averages, right? There's averages in everything. There's averages in school. There's averages in sports. There's averages in everything. Yeah. And in that moment, Nicole, this is crazy. I was like, just do more demos. Just do more demos. Like, okay, wait. I just have to get through the no's to get to the yeses. Like, is that what you're telling me? And he was like, you're going to hear no more than you hear yes. And I was like, oh, well, I'm not really used to that. So, but it's average, right? So I would say, guys, listen, don't give up. Like in the moment, gosh, I think this is so true in all of our life. In the moment that you're about to walk away is actually one step from exploding. Wow. Like it's like you've been doing all those right things. And that is the time that you're like, when you want to throw up your hands in the air and just walk away, you should say, no, I'm not going to throw my hands up in the air. I'm going to dig my heels in and I'm going to work just a little bit harder with more intention and figure out how can I make this work?
Exactly.
And my answer to that was just do more shows. Right. So partner with somebody that's better than you. If you're trying to strive to be a better lead generator, go be in the room with them. If you're trying to be a better recruiter, follow them. Pick up little just daily traits, habits, skill sets. Go see what they're learning.
Right.
And just emulate them, because it will literally become a part of your being. I think it's something like you have to do, like if you're trying to change a habit, you have to do it like 21 straight days in a row and it becomes a part of you. Yeah. So do that. That would be my biggest advice. And you know what though, Nicole, like I know you went through 9 and I'm glad you went through 9. I'm glad I went through my 27, because if we were good all the time, like we wouldn't be able to be really empathetic to the people that went 20 in a row or 10 in a row or 15 in a row. Like you and I had to feel that pain and live that challenge and go through the challenge and beat the challenge. Right. And we had to do that in order to teach other people how to get through.
So you literally, exactly. You have to get through it. Kimberly Winner said, we love you, Vicky. And so inspirational. She also agrees with what you said. She said, yes, for sure, that you literally have to go through it.
You do.
And it's like how you were talking about Grant, us rainbow babies. Yes, we are so blessed, but we had to go through the whole matrix. We had to start from the bottom so that we can, relate, we can mentor other people. And it's also part of, leadership skills. Kimberly said she went 18 demos. And my mama said to never give up, right? So just never, it's so crazy because you literally said you're about to quit Rainbow at that time. Like you were.
Can you imagine?
Yeah, no, I can't imagine. I don't want to imagine.
And then it's so funny. All it took was Chris saying that to me. That was the next month. That was February. March was the month that I did 50, because I was like, oh, I just have to do more demos. It was the most demos I'd ever done in a month. I did 57. That was the most sales I ever made, 54. That was it. It happened the very next month.
The very next. So you guys, I want to say this one more time. So there was this one month. What month was that?
February. I missed February. My birthday month of all months. Probably why I was real mad.
God was testing you, Vicky.
Oh yeah, girl. I was.
So February February was when she hit 27 demos, no sales. You guys, the next month after, she had her best month in business with an average, with doing 57 demos and 54 sales. I just had to re-say it.
Yes.
That's insane.
Can you imagine though, how different would Rainbow or the Revolution Empire would have never existed because that was only in 2000. Yeah, that it wouldn't have existed because we didn't create it till 2010 had I just walked away. So it's like, the reaction that we do to things, sometimes we just have to create so much more space between like that stimulus and that response, right? Because my stimulus, I was real mad. I was like, I'm just going back to teaching. It's steady. I know I could do it. I can be great at it. And I am so glad that I put that space between there because I could have really changed a lot of people's lives by not staying in Rainbow.
Exactly. And it's crazy because my next question is totally relatable because that was a slow month for you, right? And I want to talk about, mindset and motivation like, we've had, but this is not easy, right? Being great is not easy, but how did you not just during that 1 month, Vicky, but like, how do you stay motivated during slow periods? There's times where, girl, you're not always going to be up top. You're not always going to be where you want to be at. And so what do
during
you do?
Slow periods.
Slow period.
You know me. I like to challenge back a little bit, right, Nicole?
I know.
So the way that you asked me that question, how did I handle slow periods? I created fast ones. So a better qualified question I would ask you is during this slow period, how can I capitalize on the time that I've been gifted? So during my slow period, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to be in the room with somebody. Maybe that's my marketer. And I'm going to figure out a way to call and nurture my leads and talk to customers and make sure that I get referrals so that I have a place to go the next day. I'm going to make sure that in every single home, doing the right thing every single time to make sure that we are getting those leads. But I didn't let slow periods happen to me. I created fast periods for myself and making sure that, in business, speed is a superpower. Like you have to have speed and, and train. Gosh, if you're having a slow time, like during COVID, for a really good example, we did trained. We trained so much that our closing average spiked beautifully. Our recruiting went up. Our leads went up because I was like this, I call this net time, right? No extra time. I plan on working anyways. So what can I do in my Rainbow career if I'm not in a house? What can I do to generate appointment? What can I do to generate better, to become a better dealer in whatever areas I'm feeling deficient? What can I do to help a teammate of mine? But it's no extra time. I dedicated that 2 hours anyway. So I might as well go and invest it wisely.
I love that. And I love what you said. I knew I was going to laugh at this question because slow periods, I already knew. She's like, well, I'm going to create my fast period. Because Vicky, like we're coming back from the holiday season. Everybody's, it's such a slow period. No, people are in the buying mood at that time.
Oh yeah.
So like, my God, let me just pick Vicky's brain because I know you don't create these.
I would literally list. I'd be like, okay, so my team is saying it's slow, in quotes. It's slow. So I would say, it's slow. Here's why it's slow. Let's draw a line on the paper and say, how are we going to make it fast? Let's make a list. What are the actions that we're going to do to make sure that this is possible, right? And that's all that wisdom is. Like, be wise in this moment. Wisdom is, I've got this knowledge and I have to combine it with action.
Exactly.
Work wisely.
Exactly.
Work wisely.
And whoever is watching this right now, I want to encourage you guys, something that I've been learning, and because I learned from every single interview, is that passion. My gosh, like you're just not sales focused, Vicky, obviously, but it's like, it's within you. You wake up every single day. You guys, when she turns her key inside of her office, she creates the day that she wants to have. And like I said, there's going to be people from all over watching this. You have Elvin from Vacaville watching. Vacaville's here in North California.
Elvin.
Hi, Elvin. Welcome. And I just want to encourage you guys to create the day. As you can see, Vicky is literally creating her world every single day. And by doing that, you know, are there any quotes, mantras, if there's anything you live by every single day, share it with us.
Well, I've got a couple. I have two.
Yes.
My definitely, like when I wake up and when I go to bed, it's Vicky, you have to walk by faith and not by sight. You
Love
have to.
that.
There are so many beautiful opportunities just in front of you. And the second is find the beauty in the chaos. Listen, at the end of the day, life's busy. Life can be noisy. Life can be chaotic.
Crazy.
Just stop for a minute. Yeah, just stop for a minute and be like, what's beautiful in this moment? You can't be curious. I mean, you can be curious. I'm saying I try to live in a state of curiosity in all time. Like if I can feel my emotions, just like maybe getting a little turbulence going on, I'm like, okay, be curious, not furious. What's going on here?
Yeah.
Let me try to find some beauty in this moment of what's happening. And you just see life in such a different lens. And I think that that's where I get my passion from, Nicole. Like, seriously, like you could just find beauty everywhere. Just be willing to look for it.
Yes, exactly. It's kind of like, I'm a quote Sam Musi. He has like the red car theory, right?
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
The beautiful things in life. And like that also goes with, living your day. Like I know Tiffany, I'm going to give shout out to Tiffany. She's like, you can have a bad day, right? That's totally fine, but you can't have a bad life.
Well, yeah, very true. Yeah.
So meaning to say, you got to pay attention to the beautiful things that are going to happen, all throughout the day. And you are in control of that. So I love that. So, what do they say? Create
the same is true. The same, can I add what you just said, Nicole? The same is true about teams. You can have a bad day in Rainbow, but your team probably didn't have a bad day in Rainbow.
Ooh, that's a good one.
You could have a bad month in Rainbow, but as an entrepreneur, you probably didn't have a bad month if you have a lot of other entrepreneurs beside you.
That's a really good one. I love
the team, and that is just something to always remember. That's the power of the team right there.
Yeah, for sure. And having the same culture and having the right teammates, right, Vicky? Having the right people on your team in order to lift you up. And you are all about personal development, just like me. Like I literally listen to podcasts all the time. I always have my net time, right? But how important is personal development in the sales world? And what are your favorite resources for growth, whether it be podcasts, your mentors? What do you do in this realm?
That's a great question. So obviously, that I love growing.
Yeah.
Remember that little student I told you about in the very beginning, but I don't think it's just about the sales world either. Honestly, you have got to self-develop for your personal world. I truly believe it's the greatest asset you'll ever own, the greatest asset you'll ever own. And let's see, for me personally, resources, obviously I do a lot of reading. While I'm getting ready, I'm constantly either listening to a podcast or I'm listening to an Audible. I'll make little clips. And then that night before I go to bed, I take out my iPad and I write down everything I learned. And then I make a promise to myself that whatever I learned, I'll institute the next day. I'm just, because I have to condition myself, right? Because it can't be, what do they call it? Book help or something, or shelf help. That's what Chris used to say. He was like, if you sit there and you just highlight your book and you put it on the shelf, it becomes shelf help. It's not self-help at that point. And so you just have to make sure that you're literally, you take a pen. There's so much power in the pen. And I talk about the power in the pen all the time, and you write it down and then you go, cool, I really like these. I like these techniques, or I like these skills. I'm going to use this tomorrow. And here's who I'm going to use it with. Here's who I'm going to use it on. Obviously, I go to a lot of seminars. I did the Tony Robbins thing for 4 years, which was amazing. And I actually got to experience that a lot with a lot of my Revolution Empire family. I would bring them with us, or we would meet together and do that. This year, 2024, 2025, I've been to a lot of seminars. I've been going to a lot of Aspire seminars right now. And I will tell you guys, listen, if it isn't a city near you, like get in the room. It
Go.
is so amazing. It was one of the seminars. Gosh, Chris had only passed away, like, I think it was like a month or maybe 2 months. And we loved a specific speaker. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to go because I want to hear that speaker. Because if Chris was here, we would go see it together. And I did. And it has changed so much for me in just the last 6 months. So I'm going to say, just get connected in doing seminars. There's a lot in LA, a lot. You know, I flew out recently. I did one. And actually, I've done 2 in California since October. So just get in the room. Get in the room, get inspired by other people, meet other people. It's the greatest wealth you will ever earn. I promise you. It's gonna increase your spirituality. It's gonna increase your relationships. You know, they say that the quality of our life is the quality of our relationships. And I know for a fact that Chris and I had an extraordinary marriage because of the fact that we self-developed. We had a really rocky start. And we had a really beautiful, more beautiful than not, but it was rocky, but we got through it because we were both invested in it. We both studied, we both learned. It was intentional, and it can help you in your career, obviously, right? The struggles, Nicole, struggles aren't really struggles. They're challenges when you're well-rounded in the mind. Okay. And gosh, your health, if you're grounded, you probably don't have as much stress. And if you don't have as much stress, you smile more. And what do they say about smiling? Like, it's like the greatest healer, right? Yes. That's why we smile so much, by the way.
I know. And we laugh.
And we laugh so much. And then your finances, you know, one of the things that I did recently learn and aspire is your net worth. Your net worth is directly correlated to your financial IQ. And how can you get your financial IQ up? You've got to study. You've got to go to the seminars. You have to learn. So, you know, being a mom, it's crazy. Like, and it's crazy, but it's also so, it's a little emotional for me because it's so cool that our kids come to us and they're like, Mom, what do I do in this situation? Or Chris's kids, you know, they don't call me Mom, they call me Vicky. They're like, Vicky, you know, I really need help with this. I'm currently struggling this. And Nicole, I'm talking about any area of their life. They know that they have to have this beautiful open space where there's no judgment, because I know this, and you know, I've said this to you before, but you cannot influence and judge at the same time.
Definitely.
And I love that I have the ability to teach my children how to face these adversities that they have coming up in their life. And the only way that I knew this, I wasn't born with this. I learned it.
Yeah. And I'm sure, you know, being in this business has changed you not only as a businesswoman, but as a mom, you know, as a mentor, as a friend. And that's why personal development is so important. And I know, I told you this yesterday when I was on the phone with you. One big thing that you and Chris do, you guys write stuff down. And like, it's so crazy. And it's funny to say that, like, hey, like when Chris was like, he was saying, hey, like if I'm talking, I'm writing stuff down. It's not to be rude or anything, but it's literally because I'm trying to comprehend and trying to pay attention to what somebody else is saying to me. But and that goes along with, you know, personal development. Once you care about other people, oh my God, you will care more about yourself, about your loved ones. And so that's why it's important to become a better person, right? Just be a good person.
Be a great human.
Yes.
What can you do today to be a great human for not only you, your family, but for somebody else, a complete stranger?
Exactly. So we've gone through, you know, your journey and mentorship. It's been an awesome interview. But if you could go back, Vicky, to give yourself one piece of advice, what would it be? What would younger Vicky need to hear?
I would have definitely attached myself to somebody that already accomplished what I wanted very early. You know, that's one of the beautiful things with partnering with all of the business owners that I've been able to partner with now is we're like, look, it took us this long to achieve this or to earn this. I want to shorten that learning curve for you. And I want you to do it in this length of time. Like Brian and Hannah, oh my gosh. And we talked about them. They have age on their side and they've done bigger and greater things in a shorter period of time because they're incredible students, incredible students. And the reality of it is they're just like, just tell me what to do. Sometimes they question and that's okay. I want them to question it, right? I want them to challenge me.
For sure.
And, but I'm like, okay, well, this is how long it took me. I wanted to take you this long. So I would have done that. I would definitely have gone faster. I was a little more, I was happy just selling a bunch of personals with me and Chris in the beginning. It took us 8 years before we started trying to add a team, honestly.
Wow.
And I would have recruited way sooner. Like, I'm just like, oh my gosh, like if I don't give people this opportunity, it's like stealing from them, because it has been the greatest thing that has ever been blessed upon me. And share the opportunity at least 10 times a day, you guys. I mean, listen, I'll talk to anybody about the rainbow opportunity. I know you do too. I know you do too. And you know what I want to say? I want to say that, remember that every one of you, no matter your position in your rainbow career right now, you have your own business. Like, you have a business within the roof of your distributor. Okay. And you need to treat this with pride. And I wish I would have done that a lot earlier, to understand that, oh my gosh, this building is actually my building and the company is actually paying for all of the benefits. I literally just have to be like, I don't know, the best Santa Claus and give away all the gifts for referrals for one. But if you can understand that business is a relationship, and if you did if anybody does this, if anybody does what they do in the beginning, all the right things, there would never be an end.
That's a good one. That's a good one right there. And, talking about, own your business. You guys have the capability. You really do. It's crazy because, Elvin, he commented, I'm learning a lot as a new business owner. And I love that you even said you are a business owner. Because
you are a business owner. You are. You might not pay the lease on the building, but you are on the very first day you get your demo kit. You're the business owner.
You are.
In your heart. And then you just go until you'll have your own business one day.
I love that. Kimberly said, you are a great mentor, friend. Kimberly also said he always had the best notes. Obviously about Chris, Holly King. You both are such an inspiration. Thank you so much. Thank you, ladies. Thank goodness you showed us the rainbow. Mame said, cheers to another mamapreneur rock star. So much love, Vicky. And I'm just so excited to just learn from you. And, thank you so much for this awesome interview. And, this weekend is a big weekend in our rainbow family. I'm so excited. It's Time to Shine week.
Yes.
And so I'm sure there's a lot of, dealers. I know my team's going to be listening to this interview, but advice for your younger self. That was super awesome and super helpful, because I know it's going to be relatable to anybody who hears this, but this weekend is a time to challenge yourself, right? Within the business. So what piece of advice?
Yeah, we didn't call it time to be dull.
I know, right? It's called Time to Shine for a reason.
For sure. Yeah.
What's your piece of advice if somebody's listening to this in the car on the way to their next demo? What would you tell them?
You know what? Go be bold. Go do crazy things that you would not have done in any other weekend. We give you the permission to do that. Okay. Start engaging with your customers now. Make sure that they know that you're on a mission. Claim your mission. Write it down. You have to write down a goal, or most of the time it's not even going to happen for you. Exactly. So make sure you write it out. Make sure, I don't care if you have to put 9 sticky notes because you want to do 9 demos this weekend on your dashboard. Just don't cover the gas gauge or your speedometer. Because I used to put goals on my sticky notes all the time. And one day I'm like, my car stopped working. My husband's like, it doesn't have gas. I was like, I don't know, but my goal is right in front of me. So make sure that you look at your goal. Make sure that make sure that you have an accountability partner. Why don't you guys, at the end of this, go challenge somebody this weekend? Not just yourself, but go challenge somebody else and run together all the way through and through. And you know what? If you have a reset, remember, net time. Go do something rainbow anyways. Yes. Go do something rainbow anyways. But just be bold, be outrageous, and go do something crazy and uncomfortable, because it is a lot of fun.
And that's why it's obviously called Time to Shine.
Time to shine.
Your time to shine. Oh my gosh. And I love how you
be in our Zoom room. I'm going to be in 2 Zoom rooms, 12 hours a day, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, for the entire USA and Canada. Please make sure you get your information from your distributor and be with us.
Love it. Love it. And shout out to our president, Jeff May. I know he's about running buddies all the time. And find your running buddy, you guys. Find somebody who's better than you, who's going to challenge you in this business. And I'm just so excited to be in the Zoom room. I'm gonna be there and be tuning in. And I just want to say thank you guys, every single person that has been tuning in into this life-changing interview. I know a lot of, viewers on here have seen Vicky up on stage. She's changed thousands of people's lives, but to have her live and to have her on my show, this has been so amazing. And I just want to encourage everybody, if you are inspired, please comment your team's names below and share this on your feed, because like I said, this is not just rainbow, right? This is leadership. This is mentorship. This is motivation. This is how to be a better person in general. And this is why I can select the awesomest people in my life. And Vicky, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. I can't wait to give you a hug.
I know. I wish we were together.
No. But you guys, thank you guys so much. And for sure, this is not going to be the last podcast with Vicky. We have something exciting coming up. But like I said, please comment, and share this episode. And I'll see you guys on my next episode. Bye.
Bye.